Hello, it's Paul here from SET English. Today I'm going to do a video which is about verbs. Okay, so do you make these mistakes? Some of them are quite basic and beginner and some of them are a bit more complicated. Do you make these mistakes? Come and have a look. But before we get started, please have a look below. There is a link there for our free course, our free OET. It gives you a quick introduction into different sub-skills. You can book demonstration classes with us as well. And if you like it, you can come and join us at SET English. Okay, so please also like and subscribe if you can. Right, so let's get started. Verbs. Verbs are action words. These are doing words. Eat, run, sleep, jump, need, require, report. All of these are verbs. These are things that people do or things that happen to people depending on passive and active. Okay, because it's so frequent, because we do these use it so regularly, there's a lot of opportunity for flexibility, for differences in the way verbs behave. So that means there's a lot of opportunity to get them wrong. Okay, so I'm going to go through, I think we've got 4 verbs today. Well, actually we've got 5 verbs, but we'll deal with 2 together. These are common mistakes that people make. So I'll show you the mistake and then we can fix it. Okay, so let's go and have a look. The first one is present and admit. Okay, these are often used at the beginning of timeline paragraphs. Okay, now, what they mean is slightly different, okay? But they definitely are at the beginning of someone's sort of medical journey, their healthcare journey in OET writing. So what people often do is this. You say something like this: Mr. Smith was presented with signs of pneumonia. Okay? People do that. First mistake. People also do this. Mr. Smith admitted with signs of pneumonia. All right, now, of course, we all understand what it means. Okay, we know what it means. We know that somebody came into the hospital or came into our clinic and they had these problems. Okay, we know that that's what that means, but the grammar's not right. Okay, so what do we need to do with the grammar? Well, it's about active and passive. Okay, both of these verbs, both of those verbs can be either active or passive in English, but the problem is their meaning changes. So sometimes meanings change when we change from passive to active. So presented, if I say was presented with, okay, you'd say something like, my son was presented with a prize for being a great swimmer. Okay. Well, that means somebody gave him a prize. He was presented with a prize. That's what that means. All right. If I say admitted in the active, okay, my son, let's use my son as an example, admitted to stealing the bike. Oh, naughty. Okay. So in this case, it means that he said, okay, yeah, it was me. Okay, I did it. All right, so we can see, can't we, that putting it between passive and active changes the meanings. So what we want to do is, we want to do this. We want to take away the verb to be and stop it from being passive. And we want it to be active for the word presented. And for admitted, we want it to be passive. Okay? Because now it's different meaning. Now, this means he arrived at the clinic with problems. In this one, he was admitted. It means he was allowed to enter allowed to enter and stay in a facility. Okay, that's what that means. So the meaning can change with these two. And I promise, I've examined thousands and thousands of OET letters. Very common error and very avoidable. Okay, maybe it's something that happens more with people who are beginners, who've not done so much in terms of OET writing, but still, it's something which can be a problem for people. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Let's look at report. Okay, report. So let's think about why we use it. Why would I use report? Okay, I use report because I'm trying to say that somebody told me something in the past. Okay, somebody told me something in the past and I am reporting that in my letter. So a really common example would be something like, a common error, Mr. Smith reported that stomach pain. Okay, that would be one way that some people might do it. Okay, or you might do something like this. Mr. Smith reported now let's say that, okay, we'll get into that in a moment. Okay, reported that. Okay, and reported. We'll give it an example in a minute. But reported that cannot be followed by a noun. Okay, reported that is followed by a verb phrase. And Mr. Smith reported, this is where it gets a bit confusing. Sometimes people follow it with a verb phrase, but it can also be followed by a noun or a noun phrase. And it's probably a good idea to keep those separate. Okay, it's probably a good idea to say report we'll use with nouns and reported that we'll use with verb phrases. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so Mr. Smith reported that. We've got to follow that with some kind of speech. So what happened? Okay, well, on the 4th of July, this is what happened. Mr. Smith said, I have had stomach pain for a week. That's what Mr. Smith said. I've had stomach pain for a week. Well, if we're writing our letter on the 15th of October, I'm going to say Mr. Smith reported that he had, now I can choose a different verb. I can use the same one. He had, okay, or he had been experiencing. Okay, I can do that. I like that one. He had been experiencing stomach pain for a week. And this is called reported speech. Okay, this is called reported speech. And that's really nice. That's a really nice thing to do. Very useful in OET. Okay, Mr. Smith reported that. That's the phrase here. And then we've got this verb phrase. Let's put it in a different color. Now, there's a lot of grammar that goes with reporting speech. Okay, something you need to be aware of is that whatever tense someone used in the past when they said their phrase, you take a step back. And we can do a whole other video on that. But this is just a common thing that people get wrong that I'm talking about today. So we've got this reported speech idea. And then we've got reported without reported that. Okay, where we say, well, what did he have? Okay, what did he say? I have had stomach pain for a week. So now what I need to do is I need to turn this into a noun. And this is a process called nominalization. Again, it's another thing that we teach in our school regularly. Mr. Smith, so remember I'm writing on the 15th of October again, okay? Mr. Smith reported, now how about this for a nice trick? A 1 week history of stomach pain. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so a 1 week history of stomach pain is a noun phrase. Okay, so avoid making that mistake that I said earlier where people say reported that stomach pain. Okay, that's not allowed. Okay, we cannot do that. That's not allowed in English grammar. Okay, so report that and reported are slightly different in the way that they are used. It's a really, really useful thing. Happens a lot. Okay, happens a lot in OET writing that we see people making mistakes. And it can get a bit complicated. Definitely worth practicing. Okay, so what else have we got? Well, we've got this verb. Okay, commence. Commence is a bit of a tricky one. I think everyone knows what it means. Commence means start. But unfortunately, sometimes we say commence plus a noun. And sometimes we say commence on plus a noun. Now, I wonder if you've noticed that or if you've ever made that error. Well, the difference is about active and passive again. Okay? So, if I want to use the active, I use this. If I want to use the passive, I use this. So, let's take Mr. Smith again. Mr. Smith commenced chemotherapy on July 14th. Okay, brilliant. But if I want to say that Mr. Smith is the object, okay, and that it happened to him, I would say Mr. Smith was commenced on chemotherapy on July the 14th. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Why? It's just the rule. Okay, that's just the way it is. With language, you know, in English, the rules don't always make sense. Okay, so here he was commenced on chemotherapy. All right, so you need to make sure that we understand that and we avoid that very, very simple mistake that anybody can make. Okay, anybody can make that mistake. I see it regularly. If you're using active, he commenced the medication. If you're using it with commence on in the passive, commenced on instead. All right. Okay, so what else have we got? Our last one. Our last one is one that, to be honest, and the reason I'm including it today is because it annoys me. It frustrates me. And it's all about this phrase. Okay, let me show you it. Appreciate. Think about where you use it. People use it in their request paragraphs. All right, so it would be, now this is what people do so often. If you could provide Mr. Smith with monitoring at home. Okay, you might write a sentence like that. Well, where's the problem? I've spelled appreciate, okay. I mean, that's fine, isn't it? But what people forget is that this is a conditional sentence and this is passive. Okay, it's passive, which means we need to put a D there. Now, I think that OET are not particularly impressed by phrases like this. They're a little bit of a template. You know, you can take them from someone else's letter and put them into your letter. And it's easy. It's not really your voice. So if you're going to do it, get it right. All right. If you're going to copy a phrase from someone else's text, make sure that you know how it works. All right. So we've got commence, appreciate, present, admit, report. 5 verbs that we commonly see people making errors with. Don't make those mistakes. If you'd like to learn more about this, obviously you can like and subscribe. We'll have more of these videos. Also, let us know if there's anything that you want us to cover. We'll do it. And yeah, if you join us, if you see the link below, you can join our free course. If you want to get more involved with our training, you can cover all of this and much more in our course. Okay, have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye bye, guys.